Welcome to the acrylic workshop. In this video we're going to make a tea light holder like this one, and we use three different techniques to make it. We're going to use the sandpaper to make some of the areas opaque, and we're going to use the soldering iron to solder a pattern or the ammonites onto it, and we're going to use the drill to drill holes to tie together in a triangle. So you can use a chopping board, a nylon one or a wooden one, or a piece of polystyrene to protect the table. I put a piece of paper on top to protect the acrylic sheet from being scratched. First we're going to sand two pieces of acrylic sheet, and we need to take off the plastic paper first. There we go. And in the packs that you have, we have templates. You take figure 1 template and cut the circle out with a craft knife. You'll need both sides of the template, so don't cut across there anywhere. And then we're going to put that in the middle there with a piece of masking tape that we fold back on itself. There we are. And then stick that into the middle. And then take a piece of sandpaper that you've got in your pack and slowly sand everywhere that isn't protected by the mask which is in the middle. And use different motions with it. You can go from side to side one way, then go side to side the other way, or you can go round in circles. But the idea is to get it uniformly opaque all over the acrylic. And I've got one here that I did earlier, and this is what we're aiming for. Only here I must have gone underneath the mask there. It's not quite in a complete circle. And then we're going to do the same with the second piece of acrylic. We take off the two. Sometimes it's quite difficult to get started, but once you've got a corner up, then you can get the backing plastic off. And then two more pieces of masking tape. And stick onto the sheet. And then we want the sandpaper again. And this time we're going to sand in the middle of this circle. The hardest piece to reach with the sandpaper is the area next to the card. It's hard to get it right up close, which is why sometimes you end up going underneath the mask. But if you can get it quite close, then you get a nice crisp circle. And again, go in the different directions. And here's another one that I did earlier. Okay, so when we've got to this stage, we can start using the soldering iron. This is figure 1A, which we're going to use as a template to draw the little squiggles on it in a pattern. And they're circular. It's not easy to do circles. So this is my soldering iron, and to protect myself and the surface of the table I use an upturned terracotta plant pot, and it's got a hole in it that it just fits inside, and I turned it on earlier so it's nice and warm now. And you can also have a guard that sits on the table that you rest the soldering iron on, but I find this the safest because it stops you burning your arm if you accidentally put it across the table. Let's move that out of the way. And then just gently, pressing quite gently, we take these round in a circle. You can go back on yourself, you can take it off and go backwards to meet up where you finished. And then there's also some dots on the pattern, and you just press your soldering iron into the dots. And it doesn't take long to start building up the pattern. There we are, it's starting to build up. And then we do the same with the other one. Place the circle on top of the template, and then we draw into the pattern just the same as we have the first one. Don't press too hard when you're doing the circles, just enough to melt the surface and create the pattern. Although it's opaque, you can still see the pattern through it. There we are. Oh, I'll just do a few dots on it as well. There we go, and eventually that will start to look like that. Now we're going to take our third piece of acrylic, take off the backing paper, and place it on top. Of the second figure. And this is the one with the ammonites. And just like we did with the pattern, we're going to trace the ammonite onto the acrylic. Quite often it's easy to start in a new place and bring it back. Don't try and take it too far in one go, just slowly but surely. And give the soldering iron time to melt into the plastic as you go. Here we are. That's the start of it, and eventually it'll look like that piece there. One of the things I've forgotten to say actually is after you've finished sandpapering this piece, to clean it up, don't rub it, take this off and then run it under the tap or put it in a bowl of water. And you can rub it when it's in water, because the little bits that you've created will just float off. If you try and rub it while it's dry, then you will scratch the acrylic with it. Now we're going to move on to using the drill. And what we do now is we put all three back onto the template, and in each corner there's a hole marked. So we're going to use the soldering iron just to mark where we're going to drill in each corner. So that's all we need, is just a little tiny mark. And then we need the black paper is quite useful to be able to see what you're doing. There we are. And then put your drill into the little hole that you've just created. Don't press too hard, because you can crack the acrylic, so just keep a nice gentle pressure on it. And it will slowly go through. There's one done. And for this I would get a cloth and just gently it is a bit static, so they do tend to fly around and back onto the, there we go. And we'll do another one, a second one, and then we'll tie them together. With the soldering iron first in the corners. And then the drill. There we are. Now take the piece of, there it is, you can't see it very well, this is fishing line, and we're going to use this to tie it together. And in the pack there's a diagram here with how to tie a reef knot, and that's how we're going to secure it. So we're going to get, it doesn't matter which order they go or which sides they go. So we thread it's very springy. Here we are, we thread the fishing line through the two holes. And we tie. We go right over left and under and pull it tight, and then the other way. Left over right and put it tight. So, and then back again a third time. And pull it tight. And clip it, just leaving a couple of ends, little ends. And then we'll do the one at the bottom as well. if I'd had time whilst doing the video, I would have washed the 2 pieces and dried them. There we go. Right over left and left over right. 3 times and then clip it. And then do the same with the 3rd piece. There we go. And then that will end up like this here. Another tip, if you get a bit of sticky residue from the masking tape anywhere on the acrylic, then just use some methylated spirits. Just a small amount on a cloth and gently rub, and it will take the sticky off. Okay, I hope that's been useful. Thank you.